We did that. All right, welcome to our study. We are live on four different platforms right now, which is so cool. So,
Yay.
Anna,
Woohoo! Aloha, everyone.
Christina, and Teddy. So if you're streaming on Instagram, just make sure that you close your browser so you don't hear yourself twice. Right on. So also we have a special guest today, and he's going to be joining us in a little bit. DJ White. He is the one that helps us get everything set up as well here at the Sound Better Studio. And so set the pace again every Monday. What we do is for us to be able to set the pace, not only career-wise, we talk a whole lot about work, but for us to be able to set the pace for all areas of life. And this month, we are really focused on setting the pace for fitness, health, wellness, and we're going to talk a little bit about NMN and anti-aging. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
I am.
I'm excited. We are specifically speaking on MetaPWR. We're going to introduce the system to you today. We have a challenge starting on the 15th, and I'm going to share a little bit of the information with you so you can follow it with us. So we have here the way that we run all of our programs. This is based on this diagram. Can you guys see this a little bit better when I blow it up? Cool. So this is the diagram that we have. And this is the nutrition and digestion, movement and metabolism is where we're going to focus a lot more this time. And the metabolic challenge starts on the 15th and it ends on the 15th. And the cool thing about having challenges is that you know it's going to have an end to it. And the idea of the challenge is for you to be able to set goals and set habits for the days. And what sticks, sticks. What doesn't, so you do what works for you. But I would say that the easiest thing to do with the challenge is to put a little powder in the water and take it. That's pretty easy, right? Simple. So, DJ, we can hear you, but we cannot see you. There he is.
There you go. I'll be bouncing in and out, guys.
Right on. But we can hear him, which is perfect. All right. Am I the only one that is hearing double? Do you guys hear double too?
No. Oh, yes, I do. But it's okay.
Well, the double is because you'll hear the microphone, but it's bouncing between microphone. But the individual recordings on here, we're just messed up.
Amazing. We're still getting the hang of this, guys. This is the second. This is our second episode, right? So this is really cool. All right. So yeah. So just work with the echo for today. We're good. Right on. So let's talk a little bit about the NMN. I think that's the hot topic right now in fitness. And I'm going to introduce DJ first. So DJ and I met here because he is the one that takes care of the Sound Better Studio. They do podcasts, different type of recordings here, and he's been such an amazing person to be connected to. Very inspiring to see his journey and the way that he does things as far as fitness goes. I just nice. So what is your title before we started? And it's men's fitness coach, but also mentality coach. And I think that was an evolution, right, of how that happened. So tell us a little bit first about before you get into the NMN, which is what we're going to talk about today. Talk a little bit about your start. How did that happen? How did you get into fitness? How did you end up in Hawaii?
Well, very good question. Actually, my fitness journey started off a few years after high school. I had a really bad accident when I was younger, and my kneecaps were essentially to the inside of my leg, right? So I had physical therapy back in junior high school for about 2 years, manually getting them taped, 3 or 4 different layers of tape every single day. When I got it all done, because at that time, the only other option was to get a full knee replacement on both knees, right? And luckily, my parents didn't go ahead with that, and they said, you know what, no, let's just try a natural option. He doesn't need to replace his knees at 12 years old. So they did the taping method. When it was all done, the doctors prior said, hey, you know what? Once it's all done, you should be back to normal. I get it all done. They go, you're not back to normal. You'll never run. You're not going to jump, lunge, squat, anything ever again. You're done. So, and I believe them, right? And they're doctors. What are you supposed to know? So I went through college and I decided to study sports medicine. That's what I was going there for. While I was in college, I also got a job at a gym. Now, when I was at the gym, I started off doing membership sales because that was kind of like my background was sales and talking to people. And while I was there, I decided to start studying fitness. Once I did, I realized the doctors were wrong. There's a lot of methods out there that might not just be conventional, but were certainly out there for solutions. So once I repaired my own knees, I knew for a fact, I'm like, people need to know this kind of stuff. So I need to be a trainer. I need to show people how to get past their limitations. So I took a lot of pride early on in my career on working with people who had the most messed up bodies. Because if I can fix them and give them hope, for me, it was almost like a kind of be the hero that I always needed as a kid.
Incredible. And I just figured out that if you close your microphone in StreamYard, we don't hear the echo. Got it?
Somebody
So-
mute.
I muted everybody.
Yeah.
So you mute yourself when you're not talking. When you're talking, take it out of mute. That is incredible. And that has so much connection to why we do what we do. So we all work together here. So Teddy has been and Christina have been, well, Teddy is going to go on 9 years, not 10,
Yeah.
10 years, 10 years almost that Teddy and I have been doing this together. And Christina, right behind, about 8 years, right, Christina? Like around the age of our oldest daughters. And Susanna and Marcus, we have been friends for almost 2 decades, but they started working with me about 6 years ago. And it's been such a joy to be able to see the empowerment that happens when you give people tools. And we talked a whole lot about this before, right? And that's when my invitation to you happened. And I asked you, hey, would you test out this system for you to speak one from authenticity? Like I took this, I know how it felt, and kind of taking a chance too, because I thought you are so fit, you're so on it, right? I'm like, okay, so MetaPWR, you better work. But of course, we know it's gonna work. It took good 5 years for this system to be available, so there is a lot of research and science that goes behind every product that we put out. And because of that, I knew that somehow it would work for you, but I didn't know how. And that was my surprise. Like when you third day, you're like, hey,
Right away.
what happened?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was already very familiar with NMN. I have done a lot of research on it, never had taken it before. So the fact that Pam had it as something that was available and she introduced it to me, I'm like, I mean, for sure. I mean, just being a trainer, I've spoken to people about all different sorts of supplementation, right? Whether it be NMN, creatine, Pagogia, Agresta for men.
Thank you, Marcus. Okay, let's see.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Is that
ask
better, guys?
ask Christina if she can hear.
Yeah. Right when Pam took the camera back, the sound.
Oh,
came
right
back.
when. Okay, so it's whatever you muted, whatever you did released him. So go ahead.
Okay.
So he can be he can be self-care Teddy right now.
Well, there's a good thing about doing something a second time. I can make mistakes. I like
Yeah.
that. So, I like that. All right. So, NMN is something I'm very familiar with already. Being in the health space, I recommend pros and cons to different supplements for people. I've been doing this for almost 20 years. So, I was well versed in understanding the medical benefits of doing everything from lengthening telomeres to improving cardiovascular health, working with metabolisms, insulin sensitivity, right? So this stuff is already gold. So the fact that it's now available in a small packet that you can take with water that isn't a crazy expensive cost, which it is a pretty expensive supplement. Right? I would argue that creatine might be one of the cheaper ones, and NMN is way up there on the list. So having something that's cost affordable that has a tremendous amount of health benefits in double-blind studies across all age groups, absolutely showing. So me taking it, I already knew that it was going to have some benefit. It actually worked way faster than I thought. I was expecting give myself maybe about a week or 2 weeks. No, within a few days. Right, I was already running on the treadmill, and maybe it kind of piggybacks off the fact that I'm already healthy, and I can get maybe a bigger boost, right? Because I tell my clients all the time, the healthier your system runs, the more effective certain supplements can be, because your system's already moving in that direction. It's not going from a stop to a start. So I would argue that a lot of my success was my past history, plus something that's just absolutely viable, absolutely effective. And it gave me great cardiovascular endurance on the treadmill, which I'm not a fan of running, but I'm getting there now.
Me neither.
It's so important for us to hear from from a specialist like
Unmute.
DJ. Oh, sorry. Unmuting now. So important for us to hear DJ talking because he's a specialist, Ryan, and we have so many questions about the people are already fit and if they're going to feel anything. Marcus has actually mentioned one time, okay, am I not feeling anything right now? Because we've been taking for over a year now, over a year and a half, right? So it's really nice. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and then what are you feeling? So I really wanted to know what was like the symptoms that you're feeling. What was the difference?
So it's interesting. Like obviously everyone's familiar with Erickson Center, right?
Absolutely.
Right, right.
That's
So
a good. That's a good.
I forget what corner it was, but I remember
Awesome.
It's so amazing
Yes.
because you imagine, right? If you are healthy, you're very in tune with what your body can take and can't take. You know what's up. Like you're very connected. It works.
it does.
Yeah.
Can
It
you
does.
imagine for somebody that is completely disconnected from this body, they will feel it right away. That's how I feel with a lot of people that have taken that are not active. They are more sedentary, so they really haven't taken on like love for exercise and movement
Very
yet.
true. Yeah.
And I believe it is something that you learn. And discipline is something that also I feel you can learn. I'm not naturally disciplined, but I've learned through the years, through building the businesses and being active with my healthcare, everything that's
Self-care.
connected to what we do, I've learned to do it. So now it's like second nature, right? But you as a trainer, having the experience, what's the timeline of somebody? Okay, DJ, I wanna start training. I wanna get healthy. I wanna lower my body fat. I wanna up my muscle mass.
Mhm.
What's the realistic timeline that you give people?
Would that be as a catalyst, or do you mean just in general on its own?
In general, because here's the thing: you mentioned telemeters, right?
Right.
So basically, we've learned about this because of the MetaPWR system. So basically, the telemeters protect the end of the chromosome, right?
Yeah.
So they don't get tangled.
Almost like end caps.
Right. So they
Right.
don't get tangled. So when
Mhm.
they do get tangled, this is like disease, cancer, and
cause
such,
mutations.
right? So it causes mutations of your blueprint.
Mhm.
So it basically protects your DNA. So that's what we're talking about. So this
Absolutely
is huge, right? So that's why I'm asking you this, because sometimes people come in and they're like, I want the magic pill.
Right.
Give me the magic pill, right?
Mhm.
Let's talk a little bit about time. Let's be realistic. And you can also kind of fit in the reason why challenges are so awesome, because it
Mhm.
gives you an in to start and you know that there is an end. So I think that's the relief for people that do challenges. They're like, I know there's an end to it. I'm not going to be in this challenge forever.
Of course,
right?
of course.
So
people need to know there's a sunrise and a sunset to whatever they're pursuing, right? And I tell goal has value in some sort of another, right? If it has value, it must be difficult to attain. Otherwise, if it was easy to obtain, everyone would already have it and would have zero value. So one of the things that society has chosen to prioritize at the top of hierarchies in terms of value over time, they take a lot of investment of effort, time, patience, and discipline to get done. So when I talk to clients, I say, look, you can't come into the gym or start working out and expect your chapter 1 to look like my chapter 150. It doesn't work that way. But you also don't want it to work that way, because if you could just get it that fast, it would have zero value. So the fact that you know it'll give you a leg up in society, you'll get better respect when you walk into a room. People look at you as a role model, as a mentor. Why? Because they know you're doing something that's tough to do. You know it intrinsically. So for that reason, I say you need to give your body a chance to develop habits the natural way, but you can start seeing results right away. There's a lot of what we call newbie gains. And those newbie gains are meant as a reward system in your brain to tell you, hey, you're moving in the right direction. Because no one wants to do a workout for the first time and be like, wow, I actually feel worse now after that. No, you initially feel good. Your strength will go up, endurance go up, your confidence goes up, your clothes sizes might start going down. Now, mind you, it won't go at that exact same rate forever, but that's your brain saying, hey, we're on to something good here. You're doing something right for yourself. It improves your mood, all the above. So people need to understand that when you are training for the first time and getting your health together, first of all, whatever goal you might have, this is a lifelong endeavor. But what you want to do is choose goals along the way that keep you motivated. Okay, and it takes one step at a time. And I would argue that when you meet with an expert like me, I say all the time, like, we're not special. We're just shortcuts, right? You can learn this information on your own. Like, if I want to be a doctor, I can go read the same books that the doctor read. But who wants to spend 8 years doing that? So you ask an expert, because the expert gives you a shortcut. And that's why when I talk to my clients, I'm like, look, you can get there on your own. But if you want a shortcut and you want to feel good and feel better about yourself as fast as possible, then you talk to me.
That's great.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that connects in so many levels
Yeah.
about like what we do, as our work, which is a mission. And there is, you talked about reward system, right? And we know this now because we've been through it and we do it over and over. But the reason why I was confident in having you try and test the system was because when I knew it works. Mm-hmm. And also what I mentioned to you was sometimes you need some tools for you to get started, right? So it's not our case because we're all here fine. I would say it took us a few years to get to this space, right? Susanna, Marcus, like we started this journey of fitness and working out and being disciplined. And this goes for everything. This goes for business. This goes for kids. This goes for your household, for your friendships. It goes for everything, right? We started, and I feel that my tools helped me get to that space. Yep. And that's what I told you is this can be a tool, right? And I'm holding the little packet here. This can be a tool for you to be able to instill the habit, start the habit, make sure that you do the habit, and keep it because you know how it makes you feel. And that goes for other stuff that doesn't make you feel good too. So you could use that as an example. Very true. For example, if you eat that, the next day it's not going to feel so good. If you drink that, next day it's not going to feel so good. Are you willing to pay that price? Sometimes we are. You want to live a little bit. I'm in that world of like having a little bit of that flexibility makes me feel like, hey, living is fun. Right, of course. Because I can be like 100% all the time in this mode, which I am, I would say 95% of the time, right? Mm-hmm. What is your routine? Is there a 5% flexibility in there?
Always is. Yeah. I mean, I tell my clients all the time, I take a day off when God gives me a day off. Right. So I work out 7 days a week, but who knows? There might be a day when it's some maybe an emergency comes up or something happens. I'll take a day off. But what I've learned is over the course of time, being more dedicated to something has never worked against your favor. Right. I would argue that most people, when they get started on a routine, they try to find the bare minimum. Oh, just work out 3 days a week. The doctor said just walk for 30 minutes a day and just I'm totally fine. It's like, no. You're going to now work out 7 days a week because now fitness is because it's who you are. So there are no off days. Because what I've learned is if you tell someone there are off days, they look forward to off days and start planning the off days. And their mindset is on off days. Like, I can't wait until Thursday off. to rest on Friday, right? Like I said,
Like the weekend.
the weekend, right? So I said, no.
And we work on the weekends.
I'm like, you work at every single day.
Yeah.
You don't need a day off. Now, if you have to take a day off because, hey, maybe you are super tired, fantastic. But that's the exception. The exception does not make the rule. The rule is you work out 7 days a week because you'll look like someone who works out 7 days a week. And I think that's major because anyone who has fitness or a healthy lifestyle as who they are, you're no longer making the exception to do something. It's just who you are. The exception is the rest day. Right? So I tell people all the time, all your habits are where you want to be. That needs to be you 7 days a week. And if God gives you a day off, it is what it is.
Cool. So what does rest look like? Because recovery is just as important, right?
Well, yeah, so there's a difference between rest and recovery. Right? Recovery means your body is healing itself, making yourself feel better. You can do that through sleep, the most important form. You have different things like cryo, you have non-fascial release, you have mobility routines, the list goes on. You have supplementation that helps to aid in that. I tell people a rest day should be a day that you're unable to exert strong physical force, right? So if I'm like, hey, I'm going to go for a swim, a nice leisure with my family, are you burning calories? Yes. Are you still active? Yes. This is rest day, right? And I would say you want to keep those days to a minimum because I think if you're getting the sleep that you need, sleep is really the only time that your body truly recovers. So you can work out 7 days a week if you're getting your 7 to 8 hours of sleep plus an extra 1 hour for just about every 1 hour of extreme exertion of physical force, right? So most people, they go to the gym for an hour a day. You're getting about 8 to 9 hours of sleep, right? That'd be optimal with a little bit of range to play around. But in terms of just doing nothing, save that for a day to where you can't do anything. Because anyone who's really dedicated to what they do, sports athletes, people, all you guys sitting around the table, this is just who you are. So you're not trying to change who you are, right? Only circumstances might keep you from working out, but otherwise, your recovery is your daily routine. It's your supplementation. It's your workout speed. It's knowing that some days need to be high intensity, some low intensity, using different recovery methods. That's how you do things. You make it just a lifestyle.
I love it. I love it. So I feel that the goal is for you to get to a place where if you don't do it, you kind of feel bad,
Yes, I
right?
agree.
The days you don't do it, I'm like, ugh, like something is missing. It's kind of like prayer, right? If I
Yes.
don't do my prayer in the morning and at night, I feel like, okay, the day didn't end and the day didn't start, kind of. So I think that is the reason why I love challenges, is to give people the chance to get that started. And what sticks, what doesn't. It's fine. Then maybe try to get the habit down the second time, right? And the third time and the fourth time, whatever, how many times it takes for you to get that down. So exciting. So I'm going to talk about sleep. And the next challenge is going to be a sleep challenge. And it is just as important, right? So we're talking
Yes.
about movement, metabolism, and moving and being active, but just as important is the recovery. And that is going to be in the next few months. We'll get to that. So get ready to test that one out.
I'm ready for it.
So another question here. When you heard about NMN, you have this natural form, right? Were you surprised?
Yeah, very surprised because I don't even know about the synthetic version. Right? I know, like I said, the FDA had already put a ban on future production of it after a certain point. Right? Because I think maybe they just want to capitalize on how expensive it can be because it is so viable, so useful, and all the double-blind studies are outrageously productive. I mean, the stats. It's one of the most startling, I'd say, revelations of a supplement that we've seen in a long time outside of creatine, to be honest. So I was surprised you guys had something like that in natural form. It's perfect. That's an absolute easy win for anyone who wants to not just get started on a routine, but who's dedicated to a fitness lifestyle. It should just be part of everyone's natural diet.
I was so surprised that you hadn't heard about MetaPWR or our brand doTERRA.
Yeah, me too.
I was like,
After a while.
you're in fitness, you talk about preventative health, you are all about empowerment and mentality, and this is what we do. So I was actually happy that you hadn't heard.
I told you too, there was a guy who hit me up. He saw one of my stories of me taking it. And he was like, "Oh, that stuff is great." I was like, "You take it?" He's like, "Yeah, I take it too." So I'm late to the party over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so glad Marcus and you are here because usually it's mostly women. Our company is made up of a lot of women, and I feel that men's health is something that is not as talked about as women's health. we have all kinds of women's health stuff, right? Just recently, Movember started. You do the
Right.
whole mustache, and I got the chance to participate in one of the talks that my friend Colleen was the moderator at Wanderlust in like when 2014. It was awesome. So I got to learn about health through a men's eyes, right? That's, I think, another topic that I want to bring out more. Why do you think men's health isn't so much talked about as women's health? Why that is?
Because there's men understand that. I heard this analogy a little while ago. Essentially, they say women are born at the top of the mountain and can only lose value and fall down. Men are born at the bottom and have to raise themselves up, right? So if you would imagine the way that nature selects for itself, all females of all species are very selective, right? This is not just humans. This is also plants. Female plants are very selective about, you know, any sort of breeding or reproduction, which means that men have to find a way to be impressive enough to therefore be selected. So no matter how much we work on men's health, and I do the same thing. I talk to guys all the time about, self-deletion, about stressed out issues, and I've talked a lot of dudes off the ledge in the past few years. Actually, really amazing. I didn't know what turned into that. What I realized, and I tell them too, I said, look, I can be here to listen to your problems, and so you need to get up. But what men need is men need plans of action. Because what I realized when it comes to depression and self-deletion, there are two different ways to look at it. Women see it more as I'm not being heard. I don't have anyone to talk to. My feelings are not being understood. And I feel so alone and no one's around me. For men, it's different. Men don't necessarily commit self-deletion based off of those feelings as much as I don't have a solution to get myself out of where I'm at. So it's called like when guys like bottom out, right? So if a guy goes through a messy divorce, his wife takes everything, he loses his business, she takes the kids, and he has nothing. And he can't find a way in his mind to get back up. And he's like, I'm out of here, right? So for guys, it's actually more of a logical decision. They're like, I have no way to get myself out of here. I don't see a way out. I'm gone, no matter how much you talk, right? So when I talk to guys about self-deletion, I say, look, I understand what you're going through. Let's start making a plan of attack. The first thing you need to do is get your body healthier, improve your self-respect. The second thing you need to do is you need to start volunteering your time to be of service to other people. Because what I've realized over my time, and people can disagree with me, I honestly think that depression for men is pure selfishness. Because all your thoughts are me, I. What you need to do is say, cool, I can change that by saying, hey, how can I help someone else? And volunteer. I mean, every single week, me and my wife, we volunteer at a senior home. And we train seniors for an hour every Friday. We've been doing that for the past year and a half. That's what we do. Why? Because being selfish service, it helps you to put things in perspective where you're like, you know what? I am useful. There is a way out. And you'd be surprised at the kind of people that you'll meet being of service to others, right? You help somebody go across the street, all of a sudden you find out this person, hey, you know what? I actually run this kind of company. Would you like a job? Like the amount of connection you get from humans is so big, but you have to get out of your own shell. You need to learn how to be selfless. Once you do that, the universe gives back to you. So I tell men all the time, you need to make a plan of action. You need to take care of your body because you can't get what you don't have, right? You need to be good to yourself. And once you are good to yourself, then you can also be good to good people. Doing that will reframe your thinking and it pulls you out.
Perfect.
Awesome.
I love it. Yeah, so the me mindset, right?
Yeah.
Just get out of your own way and get things done. In May, I believe we're gonna have a podcast on ikigai. So ikigai in Japanese means reason for being, which is basically your purpose, right? And it describes your value, your worth. And I feel, and I know this for myself, that if there's no purpose in doing something, I won't do it, right? And there's no purpose behind something that I'm doing, I won't do it. So I think the importance of, for me, looking at everything that I do as a way to bring value, as a way to have a purpose behind. So my work is also part of my purpose. I love bringing the tools to people so they can see the simple ways of getting to the other side. We have now, mental health is a huge issue, right? We see, especially after the pandemic. So that's why I'm so passionate about self-care, because I feel that if you're good here, because world peace starts right here, then everything else will follow. So I know that sometimes fitness can be something that we get hyper focused and shape and form, but it's really not about that, right? It's just the way that looks after you get the work done. So how did you balance out because you can get obsessed, right? You can't. We all know this,
Of course.
and I've been there. Done that. I've competed for yoga competitions, which sounds like oxymoron. But I know there is like this guy brought yoga to the US, right? And today he's banned in the United States for various reasons.
That's the Bikram guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna mention your name, but hey, you should it. So and then I do love the series. I teach it. I teach here in Hawaii. Eventually, Nelly and here talking about our studio, and the practice is incredible. There's value to it, but I feel that I was so obsessed at that time that health became actually unhealthy.
Right.
So how do you find that balance, and how did you know, or how do you know when you're maybe overdoing it?
That's a very good question. I mean, when I talk to my clients, very few of them are looking for a goal that would make them go to such an extreme that they could be addicted to fitness, right? And from my experience, I would argue that generally, people choosing to dedicate their lives to fitness isn't that positive. Now, there's always an outlier where someone might go astray, right? And then they need maybe more counseling. But I think everything out there is not fully foolproof, right? But when it comes to fitness and people setting goals, what matters is I always talk to my clients about ensuring that every step of the way, they know why they're doing something. And I think there's three major ways that someone can motivate themselves, right? The first one is to run towards something pleasurable, something that they want, running toward a goal. The second way is to run away from something that's terrible or fearful, right? Something where if I don't get this thing done, X, Y, Z will happen, and this is horrible. The third way, which I think is actually the most productive way, and humans have always done it, is when you're running toward a goal with somebody or in competition with somebody, right? So when I have my clients here, a lot of times they'll say, I want to lose this weight. Okay, why? Just because it'll be all right. And I'll literally have a first time session. I'll say, that's not a good enough reason. I'll call you back another time. You let me know when you have something stronger, because it doesn't work, right? Because if it's just for yourself for granted, it doesn't work. If they come back later and say, I'm doing it because my mom is going through health issues and I need to be a strong pillar for my family to show them that you don't have to give up, you can take care of your health. Now we're talking, right? Or when someone says, you know what, I just joined this friend group and we're all trying to get fit together. Good, you guys can hold each other accountable, right? Because I've learned over time that the best way to change who you are is either running away from pain or running with people together. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to running with humans. I mean, we're social animals. We got to do things together. So anytime you create a group of, hey, we have this amazing supplement that does this, but you also have a group of support, that is the best way to move anyone forward. It's the same reason why typically to work with a coach, right? Because training and fitness oftentimes is a very lonely journey. No one's eating the rice cakes and peanut butter with you. No one's going to sleep at the hours you have to, right? Other people are drinking at clubs. You got to stay home. So it is lonely, but you don't have to go alone. You can decide who you want to take that journey with you. And that's what this trainers do oftentimes. Look, we'll take the journey with you. We'll be there when you're at home. I'll talk to you on text message and say, hey, you're doing a great job. Thanks for not going out tonight, right? And it just helps you know that, hey, when you have that bond and there's someone moving that direction with you, it is the most powerful. And doing it that way, I think, is how people build and maintain a healthy relationship with fitness, because they're not doing it to perhaps win a competition as much as I want to feel better. And by me feeling better, I can give that same better person out to the world through examples. Telling people, hey, stand up straight, get your fitness in. That's all the time. Exercise is prayer. You have to see that way, right? So every single day, at least 30 minutes a day, you should be doing something to improve yourself, because it's not just for yourself. It's for the people who depend on you who are also watching. Like, wow, you know what? Pamela never misses a day of her workout, does she? No, she's on top of it. And it helps people to say, you know what? I probably should have got drunk last night. I probably should get myself
Sorry,
together,
guys.
right? And that's a big deal. So I think when humans help each other, always the strongest. But that is definitely the best way.
Amazing. Yeah, it makes 100% sense, right? Yeah, and then it can be a lonely road. It doesn't have to be. And sometimes within your group, you might be the first one, and people will follow, because eventually you'll be there.
Someone has to be first.
Yes, and we went through it. All of us went through it, especially when we decided, because we do. I would say that we go against the grain, right? A lot of the things that
Yeah.
we do, we are not the traditional way of doing a lot of the things, especially in the medical world, right? Love doctors, respect them. I think there's a place for it. At the same time, I will keep advocating for preventative, and I'll keep advocating for you are the owner of your own life. You are the captain of your boat. This is yours. Your body's yours. You can't just, oh, today I'm not gonna wear my body. You're gonna wear it every single day, 24 hours a day. Hey, here you go. This is it.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
What's interesting about that too is some of my clients all the time, like, if you're someone who's religious and you're maybe a God-fearing person, right, and you understand that your body is the temple of Christ, whatever it might be, whatever your religion is, if Christ lives within you, why is he living in a slop house? Like, if you honestly believe what you say that you study, and you understand the respect for God and the respect of what you should be and representing as a vessel for him, then you would take care of yourself, right? And so that ends up hitting home pretty well with a lot of people, because they're like, oh, you know what, that's right. Because you look in the mirror, am I congruent with what I say I'm doing? And unfortunately, visually is how humans are wired. So we can see your incongruencies right away. So when I see people who are pastors and they're massive and overweight, I'm like, what are we talking about here?
That's my
Like,
biggest pet peeve.
right. It's very hard for me to watch. But I'm like, you're a it's like we can all hide our insecurities different sorts of ways, but you're wearing it on your sleeve, which means you don't care. You pass the point of caring at some point. Now, there's always pastors who are losing weight, and I commend you. But if you're just the same size all the time, you're not congruent with what you're saying. And I think that we need more models and leaders in society who are doing what they said they're going to be doing, right? So all you ladies, and Marcus, of course, might be doing something that's maybe unorthodox, but you guys live it and you show it, and people should see it on you. I heard this quote from Tim Grover a long time ago. He was like, "You need to look like winning recognizes you."
Oh my gosh,
And that takes a lot of self-consciousness, a lot of diligent work, a lot of discipline. You need to always, when somebody sees you, wow, they always have such amazing energy. Like, oh man, they're always dressed great, always have a smiling and great attitude, always happy. That takes work. But at the same time, it requires everyone else to say, you know what, I can smile more too. Right? And that's where the benefits of health just radiate outward into society.
Yeah, and you still don't have kids, so things might change a little bit. But some days there is a hot, messy bun,
Yeah, of course.
but you still get things done.
I think we're having trouble.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. It's coming back. Is it the Wi-Fi?
I don't know, it's a slight freeze.
Loading.
Cam's
So we're back.
videos.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
And Pamela's catching up in a second.
Still frozen with Pamela's
Are
screen.
For the most part, I think you're still frozen, but 3 squares are moving.
Yeah. I mean, we can hear you talking when it's happening, but
Okay.
let's see if Pam
Hmm.
can log back. While she's doing that, I'll say I think that what you've been talking about is really important for people to listen to, especially the part where you said, not to compare yourself to others, and when you do start your fitness journey, that's what you're talking about. You want to you want to have a goal of consistency, and if you go in there and go all out right away, then you're not going to have that feeling of wanting to continue with that journey. You're going to be burnt out and say, oh, I'm so over it. So that's what I feel like is the problem with a lot of these New Year's challenges that we encounter, is that the goal is just way too huge in that sense, where it's not attainable, but people wish for it. That's what they wish for. So that's why I really love the MetaPWR, especially the collagen. But the whole system, honestly, is really important because it does give each person their own metabolic journey. And like you mentioned, you felt it in 3 days, and you felt it that particular way, and we're all surprised at that. But in a way, I'm not, because we all heard about everyone has their own metabolism, and there's always some room for improvement. And for some people, it's a lot of room, and for some people, it's a little bit of room. And it's just where are you willing to take your body, and are you ready? And if you are, give this MetaPWR a shot, and yeah, supplement it with other things like the PB Restore and whatnot, and you'll find that you will see a difference. Pam was asking me for a while, like, hey, you want to try this app? I do this workout every day. And I was like, yeah, because I'm not one to work out. And I think she knows that. But, there's something to it. There's like a mental clarity that you gain. And so she was trying so hard. And after I started taking the MetaPWR after like a month or two, I finally said yes. And so it's really cool how even when that's not your thing and you're not looking to work out, you're just looking to maybe be a little bit healthier or change something about what you're doing, steps at a time, right? The MetaPWR will actually give you that energy and that something within you to take that next step to start moving your body in whichever way you choose that is for you. And then you can continue building those steps. So yeah, it's really cool. I loved everything that you were saying as far as that was going. Yeah.
Yeah, and Christina, you started, and I think obviously it's way more for the mental clarity. Same thing for Teddy, for your concussion recovery. So you can share a little bit about that, because I think that MetaPWR was a big part of that recovery, right?
Yeah. Do you want to unmute and I can
talk about it? So that last year, it's been a year, actually to the date, January 8th, I was snowboarding with no helmet in Mammoth, and it dumped, like 3 feet of snow within like a 2-day period. And I fell back, and my concussion was more stemmed from a whiplash effect. So right away, I'd already been taking the MetaPWR for about 3 months, the Advantage, actually the whole system. And I really felt like I bounced back pretty quick because there's so many. The number one, the NMN is great, and then the resveratrol is great. There's so many great things in this system and in the Advantage product that help with cognitive function. There's just a ton of research on everything else that helps. When you think about the body is composed of collagen, your brain, there's actually collagen in your brain as well. And so I really attribute this MetaPWR system to helping me recover faster. And, sad to say, I was re-injured again, like in the summer. And, but for the most part, I really feel like it's just really helped me in my journey. And again, physical stamina. I'm in my 50s and I play pickleball probably 1 to 2 hours a day, and then I'll go surf for 1 to 2 hours a day as well, and I'll go walk on the beach later on that day. And when I compare that to other people my age range, it's interesting because they're tired.
Yeah, Teddy's goals, guys. Like, I want to get there.
Yeah. So, and we talked about being sensitive to the product. I felt it right away, and I think that's because my system is, again, like DJ said, he's sensitive to things. He feels things right away. So I know when a supplement is working, and I've done things too where I've not taken supplements on purpose to see how I would feel. Like I think I did a couple days without the Lifelong Vitality Pack, and I was like, wow, I'm kind of dragging here, but that's another topic. So,
but we're going to talk about that next month.
Okay.
So next month, after we're done with the challenge, we are going to be talking about LLV. It's Lifelong Vitality Pack.
Awesome.
So that was one of the things that impressed me the most was your recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about the system, the way that we have been presenting it, it is an anti-aging type of system. But not only that, you mentioned in the beginning of our talk, it is about keeping those levels leveled, right? So you don't want to spike it, you don't want to drop. Every time you spike, you age faster. Every time you drop, you also age faster. So the idea is to keep, and also mood. I feel like anytime you get low blood sugar, you feel extremely
angry,
and you're getting angry. Another thing too is you guys are Filipino, so that's why you have incredible genes. Teddy doesn't look
That's not
a
working.
day older than 30.
Okay, I do have a confession to make. I was taking resveratrol, which is in the Advantage. I was taking that since 2000 with another company because years ago there was a company that started making a juice, and it had resveratrol in it. So that's the kind of the first time I had started, taking high quality supplements. And back then I felt the difference taking resveratrol. So
But now we have it in
yeah,
Power.
now we have it in MetaPWR combined with all these other things that are synergistic.
On
Yeah.
top of that, so I don't know if did you get the chance to do the course
No.
part of it? No, you don't need to. So you look at the ingredients and you're like, okay, I got this. But if you are, I love studying about this supplements and the new stuff that comes on the market.
Mhm.
Another thing that's going to be really cool. You're going to test it out too. Of course you will.
Yeah.
On February 1st, we will release MetaPWR Recharge, which is an electrolyte, and it is in a liquid form. And it's a little stick. So another thing too, it's easy to carry, right? So if you have a little sachet like this, it's easy to put in your pocket.
Oh.
Purse, you have one in your pocket right now.
I already drank it.
Cool.
Exactly, but every morning.
So easy to carry. And we're now, I feel like everybody's traveling so much. So to make it easy, yeah, can I do the challenge if I'm traveling? Absolutely, you should. And you should take your habits with you wherever you go, right? So my routine doesn't change when I'm traveling. And that's something that is important. So I feel like people are, oh, I travel for a month, and that kind of threw me off. It shouldn't. You should have tools at your fingertips for you to be able to keep it up. And one of the tools is the one that Christina mentioned, which is the Sweat app. There is an app. These girls from Australia, I feel like Australians are so on top of fitness, man. I love you, Aussies. They're so awesome. So they had this app go crazy and viral through the pandemic.
Okay.
And it's just a tool. It's a 30-minute high intensity interval training. And it's the one that worked for me. And I feel that you feel like you get something out of it. But since I am evolving right now with my fitness, pretty soon I'm going to start training with DJ.
There we go. The
So
upgrade.
that's the upgrade version of that. But if you need tools to be able to have it at your fingertips, just make sure that you have that and it's available, right? Going back to the electrolytes, we're going to talk about hydration. Dr. Carla will be here talking a little bit more about that. But basically, one time we did a live with her, and she said, if you don't have a good digestive system, you
Yeah.
don't excrete properly, all the water that's sitting there and that stuff that's supposed to go out goes back into your brain, and that's when you get brain fog. So think about brain fog as doo-doo water. How's that? Like,
Noodle water is much more effective.
yeah.
Please.
Please,
The term brain fog.
There you go, right? Exactly.
like hydrate and make sure your digestive system is eliminating, right? So our focus next month is going to be in detoxing and getting that GI tract in balance. But part of that is collagen. Yes, collagen is connected to the digestive system too. And going back to this advantage. So if you're doing the challenge with us, I did it as easy as it could be, as it could be done, which is you take the sachet every day. You're already in the challenge. If you're able to do it for 30 days, you will feel the difference. I know it, obviously, you talked about it, but we have so many people that have been taking and doing it for a month, and they had amazing results. And most of them did not move. Most of them did not do an exercise program, and they got results.
Yeah.
So can you imagine if you couple it with the exercise regimen? That would be phenomenal, right? So I want to see the results this time, because not the other times we did it, we did not add, hey, let's do an exercise program, right? So this time I'm adding a meal plan for 30 days with recipes that are easy to follow, and also a self-care routine for people to do in 10 minutes in the morning and at night. And Susanna and I are doing 2 extra gift classes. You can do it live if you are in Honolulu. We're going to do it here at our studio in Coco Marina. And if you are online, you can attend online, the meditation, the sound healing, and the yoga class. So that goes into a little bit mindfulness, right? So we have, I feel like a pretty complete package for you to be able to set the goals for 30 days, have the habits down, and after that, you're good. I feel like it's the perfect way to get started and then keep that going for the rest of your life. This should be a lifelong type of journey, right? And you also mentioned going back to the reward formation, right? That we have the reward system. So, would you elaborate a little bit on that? How do you help your clients create that reward system? And is there something specific that you do? You make sure that they do it every day, and then you see a difference because we talk about 21 days, right?
Mhm.
That's the magic number. That's why 30-day challenges are awesome. So, is there anything specific that you can give as like a little gift for people that will be in this challenge about the reward system?
Yeah, well, I would say to piggyback off what you just said, yes, you'll see your sleep is like the strongest
Snooze.
negotiator. It would be like, no, you go back to sleep. But if you knew, and what I've learned from people, the actual hardware is there for everyone to hijack. What matters is that you have a support system. And when you're logged into something that people can use and it's a full-on plan, so everything's accounted for, you realize that you're not in this alone. You're taking these supplements and you're working with a group of these lovely ladies and men who can help to keep you motivated because they're all doing it at the same time. And being part of a group is super duper effective. So I tell my clients all the time, you're with me, which is why you won't fail. Last time you failed, you were alone. We're gonna make sure that doesn't happen again. So I think being serious about your goals and finding out the reason why you ended it in the first place is because you felt alone. You felt like someone didn't hear you. You felt like you didn't have a full-on program that accounted for everything in your life to set you up for success. So you thought it wasn't worth it. But when you get into a program like this, you realize that you are set up for success and it is worth it. And that's what gets people to stick it.
Love it.
Can I
Yeah.
say something about that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so I was a soccer player my whole life, and as a soccer player, I had to work out. I had to, in fact, you gotta get fit to be able to play soccer. That's what we say. You can't play soccer to try to get fit, right? And one thing I liked about the sport was the community, the players, the hangout before and after the work that we had to put in. So I had a real hard time getting fit to play during the week, especially when I was by myself. And as you mentioned, going to the gym by myself and doing everything by myself. But I knew that if I didn't do that, I wouldn't perform the same way on the field. And I did, even though I didn't like it, I did. But then I'm older now. I'm not playing anymore, and I just reshared a post with David Beckham on it, and that's with F45, which is the gym we go to.
Right.
And in comparison to the traditional gym, which is the gym we all know, that's one thing. I mean, I'm not here to be there to do marketing for them or anything, but that's one good thing about that gym and what I like about that, because it's all a bunch of group classes. You come in before everyone starts at the same time. You meet people who you're working out with. You work out with them together, and then same thing. You do. You hang out in the end. But then also, I have a personal trainer that I see twice a week, and I think that complements my workout, because I'm going to the gym, I'm being part of the community, and then I'm also meeting with the coach. I have a one-on-one session with him on Tuesdays, and then on Thursdays, that's what I do. What I don't like to do it too much, but he's right there watching me. That's the thing, right? And then on Sundays I have my third strength workout as well. But I think that's just so important to have and everything that you talked about, the accountability and someone to rely on, and someone to push you, and someone to do this together, because it's not easy, especially if you're, as you mentioned as well, if you're not at where you are, if you didn't take the 150 chapters that you're in right now, you will need that help, and I highly recommend you looking for it.
Completely different than Marcus. I never done a workout before, and I decided when they launched the MetaPWR that I want to start working out. I'm a yoga teacher, been teaching and I've been practicing yoga for over 30 years, and working out in a gym was totally a different world for me, and I fell in love. And MetaPWR came exactly at the same time. Right after the pandemic, I was totally out of, my weight was out of shape, completely out of shape, just working from home, just meetings from home, not really just eating, not really moving. And I decided with the MetaPWR system that, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to do the right way. And I did. And I could see the results. I mean, I think we can actually share eventually the before and after picture. And I did by the book. I committed to do it by the book. So a year later, definitely more energy, more clarity, my skin is different. My mindset is different. I was ready preparing myself to get into that world that I never been before. And it was a life changing. And I just know we had the Project 50 with Marcus and I both 46. And I want to be like Teddy when I'm 50. I want to be with that amount of energy, looking good, feeling good, having all of that. And this partnership with the system, I think I cannot thank enough doTERRA to giving us the best of the best, that we can have it and I can feel it. It's in my body and we take it every day. And I'm nervous, so just want to give the perspective that I was not into the gym and I fell in love with the gym, and because of the MetaPWR, I was like, okay, that's my motivation. Let's do this. Let's see if this works, because we are the product. So let's see if it really works, and it works. And coming from that perspective, I don't know anything about it, macros, micros, nothing, and I learned so much. And all of the substance. So yeah, give it a shot if you're ready fit, like DJ in the top, or if you're not, like I was before, give it a shot. This is really good product.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see the transformation. So DJ and I are about the same age. we have people to look up to. So we're in our 30s. She's in her 50s. They're in their late 40s, late 40s. It's amazing to see how it also the age changed, right? So I feel like 50 is the new 30 now. Like if you're 30, you're like in your 20s.
So I will say, like, women in my age, they have to work, they have to lift weights, and they have to maintain muscle tone. And I don't go to a gym. My gym is outside. I like to run the sand barefoot, and I do lunges. Surfing is my workout. And I do have before and after pictures. I went down a bikini size within 3 months, I think, of doing the MetaPWR. My weight, it pretty much stayed the same, but my muscle mass increased, and I got leaner. So yeah, definitely works, but for some people you got to give it a little more time. So it just depends on the person. But
Yeah,
yeah,
any age.
I feel like it's definitely, I don't know, cheating a little bit.
No, it's a tool.
Cheating a little bit. It's a
Make use
tool.
of the
Yeah.
tool.
Yeah. Let's call it a
Right?
tool. I
And
like that word better.
I'm sharing, if you are just listening to the podcast, you can watch our live. It's on YouTube and also on Instagram. But I'm sharing, this is a material that we'll be sharing with the challengers. And this is something that not a lot of us do. We do when we're little, right? Journaling. Like you journal how you're feeling every day. Like, why can't you do that? Just do that. Just take like 5 minutes to write down, hey, this is different today. This is how I felt. And here you can kind of measure and follow through. You can do a self-assessment. And yet we do help you do the self-assessment as well. So you have the morning and daytime and evening routine right there that's scheduled for you. And you have a group inside WhatsApp. I feel like finally WhatsApp is being used in the US. We've been using WhatsApp in Brazil since I was like a child. So WhatsApp is great because you can keep the community engaged. We can talk. We can answer questions. We can ask questions, and it's in one place. So you get your messages and you do everything in WhatsApp. So if you want to be part of the challenge, everyone is welcome. If you have any questions that are specific to you or what you're going through, yes, reach out. We can chat a little bit about that. And I want to thank DJ especially for showing up, sharing so much knowledge.
Thank you for having me.
That was incredible. Thank you so much. And also Teddy and Marcus and Susanna, thank you always. They're my family here. And every week we're gonna bring you some different topics, different professionals that will come on. We do have some coaches from F45 that will come and talk to us a little bit. So I'll keep encouraging everybody to get moving, whatever the movement it can be, just get moving, right? And before we close, DJ, would you share something just to close out and send everybody to set the pace today?
Yeah, I would say that camera here, nice. Yeah, I would tell you guys that whatever it is that you decide to do.
Oh, unmute the mic. Sorry. Yeah, your mic is not unmuting for some reason.
Just one person needs to stay unmuted. You're good, Pam. If you stay unmuted, we can hear him great.
Oh, you can hear me.
Oh, you keep going.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I would tell people that whatever it is, whatever goal you decide to go after, it's only valuable because it's difficult to obtain. So you want to take a lot of pride and be grateful that at this point in your life, in 2024, our ancestors fought since the beginning of time to give us the privilege to choose whatever we want to do in this lifestyle. The only difficult thing to do is choose whatever goal you want and to go after it. Right? It's never been easier. But at the same time, anything that's worth respect requires a respectable effort. So I want people to take pride and take gratitude in taking care of their body. Take gratitude in knowing that you're doing the difficult work. Take gratitude in knowing that you have an amazing group of individuals here, along with MetaPWR, who are going to be your group to help to hold you accountable, give you up-to-date information on the best things to move you forward so you can optimize your lifestyle and optimize your progress in a safe and effective manner. I mean, that kind of stuff is only something that has existed in very, very recent times. So I want people to understand that anything that's worth going after, give it your best effort. Do not feel down about it, because whatever downward type of feelings you might be feeling, everyone's gone through it. It is completely normal. It's not out of the ordinary. So keep your feet on the path, keep moving forward, find a good support group.
Thank you. I did get a message just now. Pam, what's the price? All right. So that's another thing too that we talked about. It's a great question. So the MetaPWR Advantage is $84.50, and that's good for a month. And that's another incredible value for you to have access to it for a whole month. And DJ was like, "That's it?"
That's crazy. That is crazy cheap.
I'm like, you can pay more if you want, but that is the price. Okay. And then we're encouraging you can do the whole system, or you can do just the Advantage. But there's also something called Probiome, and that is this guy right here. And the Probiome is going to be full of probiotics. It's a probiome complex that we call, and its macro change starts with your microbiome, right? So this is a 30 pre and pro and postbiotics and bacteriophages, which is so scientific that Christina should be talking about this. She's a biologist, but there are 18 billion colony forming units, which you call SFUs, and it's in here. Okay, so optimal microbiome health for overall wellness. So this is what we recommend, and this you can get discounted when you get the MetaPWR. So full price for this is $47.50. So when you get it with the MetaPWR, you get a discount on the probiome. So if you can do both of them, that's incredible. So just those two, easy to remember, two things to do, nothing complicated. If you have been with us for a while, we do recommend you do the full system. So the full system, there are 5 steps to it, and of course results also are different when you're doing the full system. But any questions more specific, we're going to walk you through it. If you want to do the challenge, it's just saying yes to yourself. And I also feel that when you're vested in something, you have personal stake in your success. So just invest in yourself, and I feel that that's the best investment that you can make, is to invest in yourself and your health. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Christina. Love you. I'll see you guys next week. We'll be here again with a different topic. Will be our first day of the challenge. Aloha.
Aloha. Bye.